Thank you. I'm thrilled to be joining you for the Spotlight on Skin Health panel. I'm Mary Fisher. I'm the CEO at Color Science Philippe. Grant, Karen, thank you for having this panel and inviting me to moderate. We have a very exciting group, and thank you also for giving us the remit that we can speak more broadly about skin health across topicals, procedures, et cetera. So we have a highly esteemed panel. I'm going to ask you each to introduce yourselves so that people don't have to tire too quickly of hearing my voice. And I just want to put out there, we're the first panel with our own mascot, and that's Tahoe Ronan right there in front of Dr. Ronan. So thank you. Stephanie from New Beauty, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Stephanie Attenberg. I'm the Chief Brand and Chief Content Officer at New Beauty, and not only does that include the publication that hopefully you all know and love in our website, but it also includes Beauty Engine, which is our market research division. And a lot of the information that I'm going to be sharing today is coming from real-time surveys from our aesthetically inclined consumers. I do want to apologize in advance if you see me looking down at notes. A lot of the data that I'm going to share is actually being tabulated in literally real time and going to the printer next week for our summer issue. So I'm going to be sharing some things before they go to press. So if you see me reading, it's because I don't want to just read what's in the actual supplements, but I want to give you the newest and latest and greatest.
Thank you, Stephanie. Dr. Keo?
Hi, I'm Chachi Keo. I'm plastic surgery in Santa Monica, and I want to thank Grant for pushing me and inviting me here. This is my first time at AIS, and I've been really, really impressed. I trained at USC plastic surgery. I did 5 years general surgery at University of Washington. I did a year in endoscopic surgery at University of Washington as assistant professor, and then 3 years of plastic USC. And I've been in private practice since 2000, and I do a lot of things with facial rejuvenation with the endoscope, and that's what I do.
Thank you. Dr. Ronan?
My name's Steve Ronan. I work at Blackhawk Plastic Surgery, which is in Blackhawk, the San Francisco East Bay, and private practice with surgery center, pretty broad, diverse set of channels that we work in with respect to surgery, lasers, technology, injectables, and aesthetics. And so I love all the clinical stuff, but actually I like the business part of medicine more, and working with a lot of different companies doing consulting or investing or helping them out. And so thanks, Grant, again for inviting me, and I think this is the first time Tahoe's been on a panel. Come, buddy.
Thank you, Dr. Ronan.
I'm Jeremy Green, a dermatologist about 30 minutes south of here in Coral Gables. Work with Jolie Coffin. We're a group of 7 dermatologists, and we also perform clinical trials with Alex Casaniga at our Skin Research Institute. And yeah, thank you, Grant. This is my first, and I'm willing to travel all over the United States or the world. This is a great meeting. And I'm also the only one in the room that shares Tahoe Ronan skin type. We're both type -1.
Thank you. And we thought we'd kick it off with Stephanie from New Beauty covering kind of latest trends, consumer perspectives, what people are searching for, and then we'll ask each of the physicians to weigh in on their experience and really translate for us where does skin health play a role in overall practices. And Dr. Green will give us some definitions of skin health so we can actually attach to that as we think about it in plastic surgery practices and other practices. Why don't you kick us off?
Sure. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, which I found to be incredibly interesting, was we polled 7,000 aesthetically inclined consumers, which are patients that have had a procedure in the last 6 months or are planning a second, third, or fourth procedure in the next 6 months. And we asked them what are the 3 top things that influence their decision. And the first one was patient reviews with nearly 56%. Second is board certification, but at a deeper level. What does board certified mean? What does practicing within scope mean? And really understanding that it's not just saying you're board certified, but our audience is incredibly educated, and the importance of everybody here touting their education to their potential patients can be a game changer when it comes to conversion. The third was friends and family referrals and their results at nearly 49%. And very close behind number 4 was before and afters. What I found was interesting, or most interesting, is that our team is out talking to doctors' offices, daily, and the majority of the offices that we talk to are investing the majority of their time in social media. And interestingly enough, while 82% of this audience says Instagram is their preferred social media platform when it comes to getting information on skincare and on procedures, less than 12% indicate that it's a priority when they're making their final decision. So I think as a takeaway, it's something to think about. If you're investing a lot of time in social media, what do likes translate into for your actual business? And is that the best use of your time and of your money? So that was sort of the impact of a consumer's decision was number 1. And then, did you want to do innovations and trends or wait?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if
Sure.
does that ring true for all of you? Do you have a sense of how consumers and patients are coming into your practices, and is that consistent with what you hear?
I can say that I think that social media, it became big in my practice sort of serendipitously. I started out when I had a couple years ago, only 5 years ago, the patient care coordinator worked for me and says, "You need Instagram." I said, "I don't need Instagram." So "You need Instagram." I said, "I don't need Instagram." He says, "Here's your account I made for you." So I didn't really do that much with it, and then one day I started posting something. I was bored. And then I got like 8 likes. I go, "Oh, well, that's pretty good."
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. Then I post a little bit more. I got 10 likes. Then I decided to use it as my photo journal. At least, my kids can understand why Daddy's not home, because, they know what I'm doing. And so it just kind of blossomed from there. But I think that a lot of times that people do social media, it has to be genuine, I think. A lot of people can ask these companies to do these social media companies to run their social media for them, and they use stock photos and things like that, and people can see through that. So unfortunately, I do all of my social media myself. I have some people help me put it together, but every direction, everything I say, every typo, everything that's on there, grammatic error is me. And I try to answer everything I can. It takes a lot of time, but it has. But it was actually incredible because now about, I would say, 95% of patients are international or out of town. So it has made a big difference.
I'm noticing Dr. Ronnie.
So, yeah, I think websites and before and afters and reviews and things are more important. And I think social media has been a little bit devalued, especially with the pay-to-play. But it's also it's kind of gross. It's so fake. It's better for Patrick Mahomes' brother to dance around and make a fool of himself and it's maybe not the best representation for us. And it's maybe we're putting too much time and effort with too little return. And I think we'd be better off focusing on more direct channels like the things that you had mentioned.
Yeah, thank you. And video also.
And
has been
video, of course,
incredibly
yeah.
As well.
I think, Stephanie, if you don't mind, I'll go to Dr. Green with our first question for him, because what we hear in Color Science, we do an annual survey of about 1,500 consumers, and the physician recommendation is the #1 influencer for our survey group, and dermatologist recommendation is pretty high up there, where I think a year ago it was a similar list. I think the clinician has come way up the line. And so if you don't mind, I'll ask you to share your thoughts on that, and then to bring us into that skin health definition. And we talked about, so when you say, what is skin health, right? And the response is, well, what skin are we talking about? So if you could take us down that path a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is heartening, especially for us now that consumers are bombarded by so much information and so much marketing that they still kind of know what we use or what we trust. So that sort of feels good. With regards to skin health, I think it's actually interestingly, because even though everyone focuses on divisions and different genders and ethnicities and races, et cetera, that it is kind of a unifying thing that everybody wants better skin quality, right? Who wouldn't want that? So even though some of the things we do, maybe injectables, could be a bit polarizing and turn people off, every single patient would like more skin or better skin quality. And I really look at it in three ways. One would be sort of skin tone evenness. So how do we address erythema, dyschromia, hyperpigmentation? So skin care and energy-based devices do a pretty good job in most cases. The second would be if you close your eyes and kind of feel with your index finger, how does the skin feel? The sort of skin surface smoothness. So we're talking pores, we're talking acne scars, we're talking wrinkles. So we also do a pretty good job with our current armamentarium. And the last, which I'd say is probably the most challenging for me, is more like the skin thickness, the quality, the elasticity, which is even harder for us to measure objectively, cutometer. We have some probes, but they're sort of inconsistent. We have biostimulators, so we have ways that we can help. But really all three of those pillars combine to give us skin radiance, luminosity, this brilliance of skin that all people kind of want. So, and the cool thing is technologies are advancing and we're getting better and better at delivering those outcomes for patients.
Thanks. And Stephanie, is that consistent with your trends also?
Yes, very consistent.
Feel free to take us through the next wave there.
Sure. So when it came to trends, a lot of what we've already heard today is mirrored in the data that we have found in, combining skincare and lifestyle changes and improvements to further optimize results. A lot of the Jan Marini, as an example, since Stuart was up here earlier, having, pre-procedure kits and post-procedure kits. And Alastin, I think it's a game changer to have a body product that is as efficacious as theirs, pre and post-treatment. I think it's absolutely amazing, and consumers are incredibly educated, like we've heard every panel up here say. So the more information they're able to find on their own and the more confident they feel going in, we found that was incredibly important for them to feel confident in their decisions to move forward.
And Dr. Rohn, you've invested in a pretty impressive medical spa. You talked about the business of aesthetics medicine as well. And as far as I can tell, that medical spa is quite large, offers a lot of procedures, a full skin health program offering for men and for women, even independent of your surgical practice. How do you sort of marry that up?
So, one nice thing about plastic surgery is we can kind of do everything, and it's the one stop that a patient needs, right? So I have surgery in a surgery center. I have lasers and technology, lots of them, injectables, and then the spa or esthetician and all the different treatments they do. Well, so what happens is about 80% of the patients only know 20% of what we do. And so we have to educate them across the full spectrum of revenue sources that we have. And we do that by, we have a aesthetic, as opposed to like a surgery patient coordinator, we'll have an aesthetics coordinator. And her job is to take patients from one channel and then move them into another. So at a post-op appointment, she'll go get them and then, like just gently talk to them about other things that we might have. And it's pretty effective. It's like, I think 72% of them will then change channels and try something else. So it's pretty important. And Stuart, I want to call Stuart out. So first off, the whole lotion and potion, and that we just send them to go talk about the lotions and potions. It's kind of true in that that there's, my time's probably better spent on larger margin things, but it is super important. So when I'm talking to someone about brown spots, or we're going to laser their face, or doing a face, when we're doing their face, it's super important for them to be on a skincare program at the same time. In fact, I tell patients, don't even do the laser if you're not willing to do the skincare, because you're going to undo it very quickly. So it's the combination of these things that we can do together that really give patients the best result.
Thank you.
Does your team talk about diet and exercise and supplements and other things as well, or do they stick strictly to skincare?
They kind of get into all of that stuff, and they'll probably be doing more of that soon. That'll be something that'll be growing for us, I think, or shrinking maybe.
I think that's a good segue
Yeah.
to you, Dr. Kao.
Yeah, I completely agree with Dr. Ronan. I think I have a practice that I have 3 arms in my practice. I have plastic surgery, then I have the aesthetics, which the Botox and lasers, and I have the regenerative medicine as well, which we just launched last month. And I think those 3 really kind of are symbiotic to each other. Patients, they have surgery with me. They all get some type of skin resurfacing because, with aging, you gotta tighten up the SMAS. You can tighten up the SMAS. You have volume loss. You replace the middle layer, which is fat loss, volume loss, and then the skin. We usually do lasers or TCA peel, depending on their skin type. And then, after surgery, we have our own recovery suites as well. So they go there and they stay about 5 days, 5 nights there. And then there they get their IV therapy. We have our own hyperbaric oxygen chamber, so they get it once or twice a day, depending on how eager they are. And then we have their facialists. They start working on the skin within the first 5 days. When they start peeling a little bit, we clean them up. And then thereafter, we have also a lymphatic massage people for the healing, and thereafter they get into their skin regimen, skin care program with maintenance once they heal. We do a lot of microneedling, we do a lot of maintenance skin care, continue to work on the deeper pigmentation with other lasers like Moxie, BBL. And then also, don't forget their hands and their décolleté and the rest of their body. There's all skin damage as well. So, and then we can work with everything we can from the outside in, but also I feel like we also need to work from the inside out, and that's where the regenerative medicine comes in that we're developing. And I wanted to do to harness the power of stem cell therapy and exosomes and so forth, but a lot of that data is not there. It's really kind of scary for some people, and that's why I actually partner with a company in the UK. It's called Rendox Health, and they have very novel blood testing laboratory for biomarkers. With a little bit of blood, they can detect 300 different biomarkers. It's not Theranos, but it's more than a little bit of drop of blood. But also we do genetic testing, so we can study how the coenzyme enzymes and the way the cells speak to each other. Then we can augment that process, and we have a functional medicine doctor that helps us, and then we can develop a customized supplement for their cell speak, for cellular communication, cellular health. So it really starts from the cellular level. So we have to work from the cellular level, also from the outside in.
Thank you. I'm going to jump to the magic wand question because I think we just heard, Dr. Kao, the intro to your "If I Had a Magic Wand." And I stole this question from Stephanie and the New Beauty team, who, if you had a magic wand addressing all the gaps that we had today, what product, procedure, or device for skin health would you create or invent? Alternatively, what treatment outcome would you prioritize? Dr. Green, let's start with you.
I'd probably want a couple magic wands, but one would be laxity. So if you gave me a device that helped us defy gravity, that every day I have so many women say, I just want to wear shorts, and they lift up the skin on their thighs. So if you could give me something like that would defy gravity in a safe, without a surgical scar that's like twice the size of the patient, then I'd love it.
Dr. Ronan?
I would say the same thing. So we've been working on these for a long time, and there's lots of devices that are non-invasive that do little tiny micro tightenings that really aren't that impressive. There's some new invasive technology. I think it's going to be interesting with all the coring technologies coming out. But still, the new holy grail is a skin tightener that works very well, that might even cause a contracture. It works so darn well. But that's what we need is a non-invasive device that does skin tightening.
All right, we'll keep an eye on you. Stephanie, that gives us 5 minutes remaining. Bring us home, because you have also other fresh survey data that answer that same question.
I do. So my personal answer didn't make the top 3, which is disappointing, but we had 1,090 people answer the question, if you could permanently eliminate one aesthetic concern, what would it be? And the number 1 concern was cellulite. Across the board, and that's the 3rd year in a row. And then as we dug deeper, it was a much less painful alternative or protocol than what has been introduced in the past. It seems that everybody wants to solve it, but they want to solve it in a way that is as pain-free as possible. The second, which I think is super interesting, especially based on some of the talks today, was hair thinning or hair loss. Beat out melasma, beat out hyperpigmentation. It really did, it beat out a lot. That was 14% of the respondents. That was their number 1 answer. Wow. And tied for number 2, actually, was loose skin. So I think we're all on track. So if anybody in this room can, make that happen, I would be willing to put my legs out there for a test.
There's really there's some really good stuff for hair.
Yeah.
And thickening up here, medical and
I'll talk to you
procedural.
after.
Yeah.
Mine is running away.
That's
so.
coming along.
Well, thank you all for continuing to invest your careers in aesthetics medicine, and I appreciate you bringing your perspectives here. Clearly, we align well, I think, with the rest of the agenda for the conference, and that's a nice segue over to my friend Caro, who is on the next panel on cellulite, and also I have to give a shout out to Denise. I'm on the board of Sientra, as you know. Caro chairs, and Denise from Sientra is also on the next panel, so we'll let you guys move on to the body. Thank you.